but now I look at success as impact. How can I create change? How can I leave some sort of legacy, and how can I better the world?
Hi everyone, this is a special episode of The Winning Formula in honor of Women's History Month. I'm your host, Poppy Shen, and I'm so excited to be joined by a very special guest today, Allyson Felix. Welcome to Nasdaq.
Thank you for having me.
So you've obviously had an incredible athletic career. I have all the stats. You've won 11 Olympic medals, 20 World Championship medals, which makes you the most decorated track and field athlete of all time. So I know you have a daughter. Is she aware that her mom is a GOAT?
No, she just cares that, she has her snacks and that I'm there to pick her up from school. So very much just mom to her, but that's my most favorite role of all.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sure as she grows up, she's gonna get a better understanding of your world and all the business ventures you've built as well. I know you have an amazing shoe company, Sage. You also have this new business venture, Always Alpha, that's the first management firm that fully focuses on women's sports.
Yes.
So can we talk about it? Can you tell me a little bit of background of the company and its mission?
Yeah, it really came about, from a lot of other athletes as I moved away from competitive sports, asking me, where could they go for representation? And for me and my brother represented me for my career, and he really did a great job of bringing experts in and really building out my business. And so I didn't feel confidently that I could send anyone coming to me to a particular spot. And so not seeing that, we decided to build it and to put it in the world. And being under Dolphin Entertainment, having their support has been incredible to be able to do this at scale, and then to focus solely on women in sports. There hasn't been anything like that, and I feel like there's no better time than right now.
So when you look at female athletes, are there some unique challenges they face while navigating all these business opportunities while also trying to build up their marketability within sports?
Yeah, I think in the past, we've really seen this model where it's kind of one-stop shop fits all, and you go to a traditional agency and frankly, I think, women have been marketed in the same way as men. And we're saying that it should be done differently. New sponsors, new brand deals, really the way that women's sports marketing is a whole new category. And so we're excited to show up and really to take a holistic approach. Of course, we want to be the best representation on the field of play, but we also want to think about, as female athletes, what do we want to do beyond the field as well? Do we want to start businesses, write books, do impact work? And so it's really about touching all of the different aspects of life.
So it's not just sports and sponsorships, it's kind of building a sustainable career even beyond sports as well.
Absolutely, because there's going to be a time where you are done, with competing, and thinking about that way before and understanding, you want a smooth transition, and a lot of that work is done in your most competitive years.
I read a research by Sportico yesterday. So last year, for the top 15 highest paid women athletes, majority of their earnings actually comes from brand endorsement and brand sponsorships instead of their salary. Can you talk about the importance of female athletes being able to create that personal brand to increase their visibility in general?
Yeah, I think right now we really have the attention of the world on so many female athletes. And I think what people are also seeing is these are such rich stories. There is the phenomenal talent level on the field, but then there is also so much more beyond that. And there's following, our lives, and whether it's motherhood or other challenges, other interests, there's so much there, so many great personalities as well. And that connects to so many different brands and different things. So yes, there is the field of play, but there's so much beyond that.
In recent years, it's very exciting to witness that women's sports have seen a tremendous growth in terms of popularity, global reach, revenue, and investment pouring into women's sports. In your view, what do you think are the key drivers that are driving that momentum?
I think, more than anything, it's a smart investment, and people are seeing that this is not some charity case. This is a great entry point, and people are doing really well by investing in women's sports. And so we're seeing all different type of leagues pop up. We're seeing across the board this growth and visibility, and so we just want to continue to have that happen, and have more players in the game.
As an entrepreneur in the space now and a retired athlete, do you see any untapped potentials within women's sports that you think businesses should be paying more attention to?
Of course, the talent, of course, new leagues and supporting there. I think brands have to really recognize, I think, outside of the traditional ones, that there is so much opportunity. And we have to stop thinking in just the way that things have always been done. So I think that's a huge area of opportunity.
As the industry grows, have you seen an uptick in terms of brands looking for female athletes for sponsorships and brand deals? Or have you personally experienced that shift in culture?
I think we're seeing it right now. I think it's a hot thing to do right now, to be in women's sports. And it's also nice to see brands that have been here and been trying to do the work over the years. Of course, it's really great to have all of this new energy, but we want to make sure also that it's authentic and that it's not just marketing, and that we're holding these brands accountable to really make a real investment and not just a campaign.
Right. Of course. So I want to pivot a little bit because I know Always Alpha is not the first venture you created. Throughout your athletic career, you faced and overcome many obstacles and adversities, from fighting for equity in sports to advocating for maternal protection. So I want to ask, looking back, how you were able to turn those obstacles into opportunity for growth and impact.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm most proud of is having contributed to protection around maternal rights for female athletes and allowing them time after they give birth to reach that elite level again and just be supported. And for me, that led into the founding of Sage, our footwear company, specifically to focus on women deserving better and shoes that are crafted after the form of the female foot. And so I think it's really just about having used my voice and been able to speak out on things I'm passionate about. And then that has led to business ventures and opportunities in that space as well.
That's amazing, because I think in those moments when you're facing these adversities, instead of being okay with it or walking away, you chose to stand your ground and fight against the system or a set of rules that have been built for years or decades. How were you able to find that courage to take those bold steps in those moments?
When I look back, I don't feel very courageous. It was terrifying. It was very scary. I think it has been the people around me, my allies, supporters who have really, helped me. And then just becoming a mother. And I think a mother to a daughter, because I look at my daughter and the world that she's going to grow up in. And it came to a point where it was like, even if everything goes away, even if I face the harshest of consequences, it's worth fighting for, because I don't want her and her generation to take on these same fights. And so really, I think it was just a mom doing what she had to do. And I'm grateful that I've had support since then.
That's awesome. I think for female athletes or just women in general around the world who are facing a set of tough challenges, what would your advice be for them to build that resilient mindset and carve out their own path of success?
Yeah. I think sometimes when we think about it, you think you have to have this big platform or you have to be able to, shout it from the mountaintops. But I think we all can do our part in wherever we are. It's not always going to look the same, but I think within our families, within our friend circles, at work, it doesn't have to be the big monumental move. It can just be something small. Yeah, amplifying someone's voice, standing with someone, and that it does a lot when it starts to build up.
Yeah. Now, as a business leader now, how are you continuing to find passion and redefine success for yourself? You retired a couple years ago, and now I'm sure it's been a bit of a transition. Yes. How do you keep that momentum up?
Yeah, I mean, the transition it's hard, it's challenging in ways where, I've gotten to do what I'm so passionate about and loved for so many years. And now I get to do it in a new space. And I find it very rewarding to have these just new events, as I call them, to tackle. And so I love that. And I love that now I get to redefine what success looks like. When I was on the track, it was very clear. It was like medals and records, all those things.
It's more like concrete, something you can see.
So that's been different. But now I look at success as impact. How can I create change? How can I leave some sort of legacy? And how can I better the world for something? So I'm excited to have these new goals.
When you look at sports and businesses, I'm sure there's a lot of parallels in these two worlds. What lessons did you take from your athletic career to the business world that you felt like has been helping you?
I think the determination. Because business is hard. There are so many roadblocks and challenges along the way. And in sports, that is just inevitable. You go through injuries, you have years where it's up and down. And so it never fazed me in sports. And so I have to take that same attitude to business as well and see the big picture. As an Olympian, we worked in 4-year cycles. And so it was always easy to look further down. And that's what I have to do in this new space as well.
So since our show is called The Winning Formula, I have to close this interview by asking you, and I think you mentioned already, asking you what your winning formula has been leading up to this point.
Yeah, I guess I would break it down to standing up for what you believe in, having determination, and being passionate and having purpose with everything you do.